Hello. This episode on this channel is called Keeping Everything Going on a Shoestring Budget. For some reason, I've had a lot of car trouble lately. I'm going to the junkyard now to get a valve body for my 2013 Dodge Caravan. I went online. I was having some shifting issues, and I went on Amazon and purchased a rebuilt valve body for, it's like $265. And then I thought I would treat myself to having the valve body installed by a local station that I trust very much. And anyway, so these guys did the job, and I started getting a code coming up, a PO750, which is a shift solenoid, which I wasn't even getting before. So whatever somebody put back in the box and shipped me was not functioning. So now I'm just gonna go to the junkyard and rip one out of a car that's been wrecked, and we'll film that. The other thing of note, and you can comment on this, I've just kind of gotten over COVID, and it wasn't too bad. It was like a couple days of, fevery and feeling like crap, but now I've got this thing where not only did I lose my sense of smell, but everything smells like garbage. So just driving around, every time I breathe through my nose, it's like I'm smelling the dump or some horrible, sweaty BO or some crap, or it's just like it's all mixed together. It's like all the worst smells are mixed together, and it's just, meanwhile I can't smell anything I want to smell. So anyway, let's go to the junkyard and let's see if we can find a valve body to get out. Okay, here we are. Going to D66 to find the first potential candidate. Well, I got to the car I was looking for, and there's a guy literally getting ready to pull the valve body out. So that really sucks, and there's only one more in here, but I think it's going to be hard to get it out because it got mushed so hard that it's mashed against that side of the transmission. So we'll see what we can do. Here's another one. Almost every Chrysler in here has got the valve body missing. So this is obviously quite a popular part, and I got here a day after that other one got in here and it's gone. So anyway, that's what's going on with that. So this is the issue I got. I need that out. That's mushed up against there. I'm gonna see if there's some way, maybe I can find somebody with a sawzall to cut that off for me. That's what we'll do. So I'm going around and getting these little bolts off. That one's a little tough to get at, and there's another one up there, under there. But what I really need to do is hopefully somebody shows up with a sawzall and I can cut that there and there, because it's not coming out without that. But I'm gonna wait for the sawzall miracle. All right, so all these bolts are out. This is, well, it was just loose off of there, but it's not coming off with that the way. So I'm gonna go see if I can hunt down somebody to cut this off. I got to borrow a sawzall. Okay, we have success, and kind of pinkish brownish fluid, but fluid looks good to me. So we got that off of there. Okay, This is the ABS unit off this 2010 Accord. I need it for Lewis. There's my thing. We've got 2 of our prizes for today. I'm going to use this serpentine belt as a shoulder strap so I can shoulder my bag and then carry this stuff out. Okay, so the Buick is in the garage now. In the back of my truck, we got a bunch of junk because what we're going to do now is we're going to put this junkyard valve body in our van, and my wonderful wife helped me clean yesterday. She got me motivated. So this garage, I know you've seen multiple pictures of it. I mean, I've actually got a space where I can walk through here. It's still a mess, but I mean, over here is much, much better. It's like, okay, a floor that I can walk on. These tables are all cleaned off for the most part. That's just from the top of that. So we're going to turn our heat on in here and get set up and go. Okay, and so the time is 12:10. So let's see in real time how long this takes to go from, I've got the part, I got the valve body. We're going to see how long this takes to go from, start to finish here. Okay, so I've taken out the battery. I removed our foam cover from that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this random dipstick that I have and stick it in the dipstick hole and see what my sort of baseline level is. This, horrible filming, and see where we're at. So boom, that hits the bottom. Let's pull this out. That's where our level is. That's where I'll mark my sort of baseline cold level. Okay. You can see the little mark I put on there. That's where our baseline level is going to be. I've cleaned all the fluid back off. Now, we're going to take all these 8mm bolts off here, and the big ones are going to be 10s for the 3 that had the clips on them. Okay, so all these bolts are out here. It's been siliconed, so we're going to try and pry that apart. It's probably not going to come off as easily as the initial factory silicone job. The guy who did this before did a great job putting in my bad unit, which was not his fault at all, but this would never leak. Let's see how easily it comes off, though. I think from the factory, the ones I pulled off in the junkyard came off pretty quickly. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so my cover's off. And this silicone that was put on there, it looks like it stuck real nicely to that. So we're just going to put that back on when we're done. I've also taken off the little parking pawl spring. Now, one thing that I've noticed, and I was hoping this would be the case, never having done this before, is that once I remove this cover, now I've got this thing up on jack stands, so maybe that makes a difference, but we're not getting any transmission fluid pouring out of here, so that makes this a pretty sweet, straightforward job. Now, I just need to take out 20-something 7mm bolts. This is the only clip that will actually come off of there, and then I guess back in there you can see there's some tubes that we need to be careful about when we pull this out. So let's keep going. It's about 50 minutes into the process. This is my lying on the ground angle. When I say 50 minutes into the process at Eric's garage is that you put down tools and they disappear, and you look around, and then you're, things normally take 15 minutes longer because we don't have tool organization, which is something we're going to work towards in the new year, getting this place cleaner and cleaner. So that's what's happening there. Okay, so that's the shiny replacement one that did not work at all. There's my 20 bolts. Here's my junkyard unit. So we are going to now wash our hands. We've taken off our old gloves, and then we'll put our junkyard unit back in. Probably what I'll do is I'll get it all bolted up there, and then I will go eat some lunch and then come back out. Okay, and the official time here is 1:10, so it's taken exactly an hour to open everything up and get out the old one and get ready to put in the new one. So far, not too bad. There's been nothing that's been annoying. Those are, well, now I'm facing it towards me. Anyway, so far so good. So let's put this unit back in, or maybe I'll get lunch first. I'll figure it out. Okay, and a very, 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 very important update. There's 21 of these. One of them was on my cushion. So, and I thought there was 21, but I counted 20, and I didn't want to, in my brain, imagine that I had, was now missing something. But anyway, so we've got 21 bolts. That's what we want there, so that's good. I just finished up a yummy lunch, couple bites left. This guy didn't get any of it. He's very disappointed, but he can't have it because he's getting too heavy again. Cody. No, you can't have it. All right, now we're back out here. So this yummy coconut water. Okay. Now we're going to grab that and put it in. Okay, now I got my cover back on. I'm going to put my insulation back on there and the two clips that I have, and then put the battery back in, and I'm going to add probably half a quart of trans fluid just because I feel like we might have been down a little bit before, but we'll see. Okay, all back together. We're going to take this off these ramps and see what happens. I don't have any of that ATF plus 4, so we'll see if there's enough fluid in here. Nothing got lost, so let's see what happens. All right, here we go. Come on. Need some luck. First gear. This seems pretty good so far. No, we're still stuck. Whoa, what's happening? I think we still got an issue. I'm gonna add more fluid. I really think, because this is running like the other one, so let's go get some fluid and put that in, see if that makes a difference. Okay, so that kind of sucked because I've still got the same issue, but now we're going to try and get a couple quarts of fluid and add that and see what happens. So I checked my dipstick when it's running and I had nothing on there, so I just added a quart of transmission fluid. Now we're going to take this out of here. Still running. It's cold. See what we get now. Put it down in there. That's in there. Pull it back out. Well, we can't tell what's going. Now we're barely on the distance. Barely. Okay, after no avail yesterday, we're now changing the filter again. in case something broke loose or there's a clog in there or there's an O-ring stuck up in there or something. But that way we're going to start from a total baseline of knowing what's what. Then we're going to take it up to the station, and if it still doesn't work, put it on the scanner, and hopefully that'll fix it. This whole procedure takes like 10 minutes. It's super fast. So we're just letting that drain a little bit. I'm going to take these last screws out, dump that pan, and then pull my filter out and make sure there's no O-ring stuck up in there or something, which I seriously doubt. But then we're going to put our new filter back in, put it back together, put 5.5 quarts of transmission fluid back in it, and then we're going to drive and see if we can get the if it'll A, work like a miracle, or B, take it to the station and put it on the scanner. Okay, so I've put a new filter in there, and I put 5.5 quarts of transmission fluid back in, ATF +4. Now we're going to see what happens. I'm assuming nothing's going to happen, and then we're going to take it to the gas station and put it on the scanner and see what's going on. This, by the way, is the end result of putting the rear window in this 52 Buick, which was one of the things I had to do, but the trim didn't work out great, and I had to end up caulking it on there. Basically, that is how it is, literally affixed with black caulk. But this car is a 10-footer for sure. But anyway, at least there's a window that we can see out, and the gasket went in fine. The window's sitting in there fine, but the trim clips were all rusted, and they didn't want to sit in the trim, and it was a big pain in the ass. The lower trim is bolted back on there, so that's good. But anyway, you know, it's not terrible. This is never going to be a show car, but it's running great. And the last thing we have to do is do the torque ball seal, unless I can sell it before that as is, which I might do. So anyway, that's how that window came out. It's pretty crazy when you're working on your 2012 van and it won't go anywhere in your 1952 Buick. You get in and start up and it drives just fine. So let that be a lesson to you. Well, there's 174,000 miles. We've got our problem sorted. Oh, there it's shifting. Shifting again. So, what did I finally do to solve the problem? I put the original valve body back in the van, and I switched only the solenoids from my junkyard one. So that whole odyssey of trying to get smoother shifts, which it does now, were merely the small solenoids that are attached to the valve body. And somehow by switching the valve body, the computer didn't recognize it and nothing worked. So I'm now an expert at removing valve bodies from these transmissions and putting them back in. So that is the end of that story. We're back with our van again. It's very nice. See you next time. Here's some snow. It's pretty deep. It's about 4 or 5 inches. So I wanted to do an in conclusion. In conclusion, this is your valve body. That is your solenoid, that's a solenoid, and that's a solenoid. If you have the problem of hard shifting, do not replace the entire valve body. Just do 1, 2, and 3. And when I was at the junkyard, I saw a guy just pulling out those 3 solenoids, and I was like, why don't you just take out the whole thing? But he had the right idea, because eventually, this is the junkyard solenoid that did not work. This is the Amazon valve body that did not work. Junkyard did not work, Amazon didn't work. I put back in my original valve body, but took these are the solenoids from my transmission initially, and put those solenoids in there and got my smooth shifting back. And in fact, I got the final gear back, which I didn't realize I didn't even have. So if anybody does this, don't go through the replacing these things 3 times like I did. Just take these out and replace them. This is assuming you don't have any problem with your clutches and you're just shifting funny. So that's it. See you next time.